What's up, guys? Welcome back to NorCal Cycling 2, and welcome back to the vlogs! The daily vlogs. Okay, full transparency, I didn't really do much today, had a lot of editing, did a chill ride with the buddy Jordan, pop it up on the screen right here. But in order to keep the daily vlogs alive, what we actually did today was I had a conversation with my boy Harry Sweeney. He's a professional rider on Lotto Destiny. Absolute beast, super chill guy. He has a YouTube channel. Go check him out if you don't follow him already. Guy is a legend, absolutely love him. But a couple days ago, we had a conversation just about a whole bunch of stuff. Kind of basically had like a little interview with him. We talked about his power numbers. Yeah, I don't know, just some cool, interesting stuff. So I chopped that up, and that's what today's video is gonna be. So enjoy, guys, and yeah. All right, brother, how's it going?
Yeah, it's good, man. Good to be on.
So what got you into cycling? Like, where did you start and all that? Just give me a quick backstory.
Well, I was always into sport. When I was coming through school, I did every sport there was, like soccer, swimming, running. I was really good at swimming, but I hated it. So then I transferred over to triathlon. And I was pretty good at triathlon. I was national champ one year when I was doing tri, and then I was progressing through the ranks trying to move to the AIS, the Australian Academy of Sport, or Institute of Sport. And I got a stress fracture in my hip when I was doing that, like running so much. So then I basically transferred directly over to the cycling program, and that's like basically what happened.
And then the rest is history, dude. That's kind of sick. So yeah, another quick question is, like, what's the biggest race you've ever done up to now? Like, what's one memory that's like a core memory for you?
Probably rolling onto the Champs after my first Tour de France. I think that one takes the cake.
Okay, yeah. Will you run us through like what you were feeling in that moment? Anything, or just kind of like a?
Oh, it was insane, man. Like, I had a really good tour, like a bit of a breakout year in my first year. Like, I was never expecting to go to the tour. And then, yeah, I had a good tour, like a result in one of the stages, and yeah, it was unreal. So like rolling onto the Champs, bit of champagne in my bin, and like coming across in the breakaway with all of the jets flying over the top. It was just, yeah, it's phenomenal.
Dude, that just sounds unreal. Actually, I don't even know. What kind of rider are you? You like a climber? What's your
I'm a little
strength?
bit in between. I'm an all-rounder, but I'm sort of, I guess, trying to develop my capabilities at the moment this year. Like, it'll be a bit of a pivotal year for me to see which direction I go. But I think because of my physiology, I have a lot of capacity either way that I decide to go. But it's more just what way I have enough room and enough space to develop myself within the team and also personally, yeah.
So then going off that question, I'm sure that people want to know, like, you know, people that are watching this a lot of people that are watching this are getting into cycling and stuff like that, and they're taking FTP tests, doing all that stuff. Like, what's your FTP? What's like a max power you could put out?
Yeah, well, depending on it really depends on the phase of training. But yeah, my sprint's not great. I think for 10 seconds I do like maybe 1250 or something like that.
It's not bad.
But my FTP and like my 20-minute is a lot better. So my 20-minute, depending on what part of the season, sits anywhere between 460 and 470 for I'm about 73 kilos, and my 10 minutes around 500.
Oh my god, dude. That honestly, that's unreal, bro. That's Jesus. I can't even fathom that, to be honest. Like, okay, and going off that, like, you know, this channel that we started here on NorCal Cycling 2 kind of has a lot of nutrition to go along with it. Someone's been asking me, and I don't really have this answer, and I feel like you'd have a better answer because you know, on your channel you do a lot about nutrition, a lot of stuff about eating. What would you say is like your average daily intake calorie-wise in the off season? You know, like, how do you not just completely blimp up in the off season and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I mean, during the year, I almost always eat exclusively on hunger, which is a really big one.
Yeah.
But in the off season, your basal metabolic rate will usually taper off a little bit because you're doing so much exercise up until the day that the off season finishes, and then for some guys, even during the off season, they'll do a little bit too. So say my off season's 4 weeks long, my metabolic rate will be pretty much not at an all-time high, but it'll be really high. So it'd be around like 3,500 calories probably a day for no exercise. And then it might taper down. And then after 2 weeks, it'll probably be at a bit of a low, I don't know, like 2,800 or 3,000. And then that's sort of when like I start to do a bit of hiking and cross training and maybe in the gym a little bit. And then it'll pick up again a little bit. So yeah, I don't really struggle with it at all because it's sort of something that I go off feel like you might get a kilo or two heavier, but it's not like I almost never weigh myself either.
Yeah.
So it's all just, I try and eat well and just to my hunger, and that's sort of what I base it off.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I think people can kind of take away a lot from that as well. You know, like it's not about starving yourself in the off season, trying to stay lean. Like just eat when you're hungry, give your body what it needs, and I think that's way more important from a nutrition standpoint than like being super strict about the calorie. And that's awesome to hear that from you as well. And then what would you say, like, I know you did a video on your channel. What would you say is like intake for a training ride, like carbs wise and calorie wise?
So depending on what session I'm doing, it changes a lot. But in the off season, my sessions would be mostly between 3 and 6 hours. So anywhere around 3 hours with efforts, I would be eating a minimum of 50 grams of carbs an hour. But then anything higher than that, like yesterday I did 4 hours and I was just like doing climbing loops and I think it was about 90 an hour. So that's even if you don't want to train with gels, it's even just like a bag of lollies in your back pocket and just eating them basically. Like it's the more and more I think that the science advances in the area, the more they can see that it's just about eating volume when you're training hard. You just almost can't eat enough to what your body can burn.
And do you recommend for off-season stuff training without gels?
Oh man, I don't think I've trained. I train with gels maybe when I'm doing really, really intense training. So it wouldn't be like just a regular week of training. It'll be like if I'm away on training camp for 2 weeks and it's like a 4-day block or something, you're at altitude and you have to get the right amount of carbs. And that would be the only scenario that I would train with gels.
Honestly, like since I'm still new to this, like those gels sometimes just like hurt more than they help, you know, like my stomach just kind of turns and just you know, kind of feel shitty after eating them. Any advice for people getting into racing, especially like crit racing, stuff like that? Like what would you say is the biggest thing that helped you find success?
Yeah, well, nutrition has to be one of the biggest ones. Like just eating as much as you can, I guess, up until a point. But I mean, I don't think there's many amateurs that would be able to eat 120 grams an hour while they're racing. So like that, just pretty much just eat as much as you could. And I don't really know what the other one would be because it sort of depends on whether you have a job and like how you can train based on that. But I mean, the obvious one is just to do as many hours training as you can.
No, that makes perfect sense, man. And then to wrap it all up, like, do you have any thoughts on the cycling industry and where it's going right now, especially with racing and stuff like that?
Yeah, I would like to see it change a little bit. I was talking to a few people about this recently that it's the model that we have in professional sport is a bit broken to a degree. Like you have like billions of viewers annually for a sport that the viewers almost never really pay for, depending on how they consume it. And that's really in contrast to sports like UFC, for example, or like tennis, where at least the revenue from viewers is funneled back into the sport, or golf. So I would like to see something like that, as opposed to a model where teams basically struggle to get sponsors who just, it's the whole like income for the team. It's just sponsorship money that is just like comes and goes basically, as opposed to has some sort of I don't know how you put it, like a more sustainable approach to sponsorship basically.
No, and I mean, like, I don't know, from my standpoint, like looking in at you guys for what you do, you know, if like for here and for example, in America, like if you make it to the MLB, right, like Major League Baseball,
Yeah.
you could be 7th string, never see the field, be a catcher in the bullpen, and your minimum salary is $750K, right?
Yeah.
And you're not even getting eyes on TV, and that sport has less viewership than you guys do worldwide, you know, and like just seeing, you know, like, I mean, I think what's like 30K for a Pro A minimum, and then like a UCI World's like 45K for minimum. Like, I don't know, that just seems pretty unfair from like someone like looking in. I'm like, dang, you know, these guys are working way harder than some of the athletes out here in America, and you guys are getting like 8 to 9x the viewership. It's like, that's how you know that business model is kind of broken.
I would like to see the development of another series within the UCI calendar. So I don't know if you remember, or you weren't in the cycling world when they had Hammer Series.
I do not, no, but elaborate on that.
Hammer Series was, I think it was developed in collaboration with Velon, and they had basically like these, I think it was 4 different types of races. So they had like a team time trial race where it was a staggered start. They had a hilltop circuit where it was laps, and there was a sprint. And it was really entertaining because you could watch it and follow a story across multiple weeks and months, and there'd be an overall winner, as opposed to seeing like 1,000 different types of parkours, all these different types of teams. It was just like there'd be all the World Tour teams. There'd be a set course for each one of them, and it was really easy to follow along. And then, it sort of just collapsed a bit. But I think something like that would really take off.
Oh, I think so too, because like I said, being someone who's gotten into this, you know, more recently, like it is kind of hard to like even follow the tour at points. If you have to watch like a YouTube video to understand what's going on, you know. So like, I definitely agree with you. That'd be pretty sick.
I think the pro cycling world needs a gateway for these people that as soon as they saw something this simple, they'd be like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And then that's all that it takes for them to investigate more. Whereas when they just introduced to some random stage in Dauphiné, it's like, you're just like, what is going on?
Yeah. No, definitely. But man, hey, I appreciate your time. Thank you for, you know, enlightening the people, and awesome.
No
And
worries,
then, where can everyone find you on Instagram, YouTube?
I think my channel's Harry.Sweeney 98 or something like that. I don't actually know.
Awesome, guys.
There you go.
Go give this man a follow. He's an absolute legend. We'll root him on this year. Thank you, brother.